swept away by a down current for 20 kilometers into the open ocean with overwhelming force. These 7 Japanese women set out on a holiday diving trip that would soon put their survival skills to the ultimate test. Only 5 would make it out alive, but not without paying the ultimate price. On February 14, 2014, 5 Japanese women, Ritsuko Miyata, Emi Yamamoto, Naomi Tomita, Aya Morizono, and Atsumi Yoshinobu, set out for a diving trip in Indonesia, accompanied by 2 Japanese diving instructors from the Bali-based Yellow Scuba Diving Club, Shoko Takahashi and Saori Furukawa. The 7 divers began their dive that Friday morning in Crystal Bay, off the coast of Nusa Penida, an island southeast of Bali. They completed 2 dives that morning, but failed to return after a 3rd dive that afternoon, while exploring mangroves on the northeast side of Nusa Lembongan Island. The 7 all-women divers each completed at least 50 successful dives during their lifetime. Despite their skill and knowledge, they weren't prepared for what Mother Nature had in store for them that day. While the area attracts many divers with its rich marine life, clear waters, and coral reefs, this part of the Coral Triangle is infamous because of the sudden and lethal arrival of various powerful currents that forces divers to cling to rocks or coral reefs. Its steep underwater drop-offs combined with tidal changes and its location near the Lombok Strait, a major channel for the Indonesian through flow, further intensifies these currents, making it one of the most challenging dive sites in the region. Another contributing factor is a sudden change in water density, often occurring near the thermocline, where warmer surface water meets cooler, denser water below. When surface water becomes denser than the water beneath it, due to temperature shifts or salinity variations, it sinks rapidly, dragging divers to dangerous depths. These factors make escaping to safety extremely difficult, even for the most experienced divers. But that's not all. In August 2012, officials temporarily closed the bay after a downward current pulled 2 divers, a Danish man and a Japanese woman, straight down to 200 feet or 60 meters in the same week, despite their fully inflated buoyancy control devices, which are meant to keep divers afloat. The area has also claimed the lives of jet ski riders who were left stranded in the ocean, unable to overcome the currents due to engine failures and running out of fuel. To make matters even worse, these currents can also be triggered by powerful storms, which are especially common during the lengthy monsoon season from October to April, and they were right in the middle of it. Despite the area's history and dangers, the 5 Japanese divers and their local instructors hired a boat captain to take them to the various dive sites and follow them throughout the day. However, their choice of captain would soon lead to horrific consequences. The 7 divers swam through the bay while the captain followed them. The weather was calm when they set out, but that did not last for long. A proper diving plan and careful weather tracking are essential for safety, as weather impacts water temperature, visibility, and current strength. Unfortunately, after their final trip, the lack of planning became evident and dark clouds began to gather. The divers resurfaced, only to find that the boat was nowhere in sight. Furukawa, the dive leader, fired a flare gun to signal the captain, but to no avail. Suddenly, a violent storm erupted over the area, and within seconds, a powerful downcurrent swept the divers away. They had no chance of resisting the relentless force as they were hurled through the ocean. They desperately tried to hold on to each other as they were spun around like being inside a washing machine. As the storm raged, the divers failed to resurface at the designated time and location. When the captain arrived, he spent an hour searching through pounding waves and high winds, hoping to find them. However, the once clear waters had turned dark, making it impossible to spot the divers from the surface. Realizing he couldn't find them, he reported the incident to the Indonesian Marine Police, leaving the 7 divers at the mercy of the ocean. After tumbling underwater for what felt like an eternity, the divers finally managed to resurface, but their fight for survival was only beginning. Scared, cold, and in unfamiliar waters, they kept drifting together through miles of open sea with nothing but their diving gear. While floating in the ocean may sound harmless, Prolonged exposure to the sun, cold water, and lack of fresh water can lead to dehydration, hypothermia, and exhaustion, not to mention interactions with predatory marine life. Furukawa left the group in an attempt to get the attention of a passing tugboat on Saturday morning, one day after they first went missing. However, she was unsuccessful in signaling the boat and was unable to rejoin the rest of the group due to the currents. The remaining 6 divers managed to cling to a coral reef, but as they struggled to climb onto the rocks, waves swept away Takahashi, one of the instructors, and Miyata when Takahashi tried to help her. With only 4 divers remaining, their situation seemed dire. As days passed and repeated searches in the area yielded no results, their chances of survival seemed to slip further away. They had to rely on washed-up plastic bottles and their fins to collect rainwater and drink from passing coconuts to stay hydrated. It wasn't until Monday that the rescuers finally got some good news. A fisherman noticed signs of people stranded off the coast of Nusa Penida, near South Manta Point, roughly 20 kilometers or 12.5 miles from their last diving location. According to the fisherman's statement, he couldn't help the stranded divers on the reef because of the still ongoing powerful currents and high winds. Instead, they alerted the authorities, who sent a rescue boat to collect the divers. Search and rescue officials mentioned that the 4 women seemed to be in good health despite their 3-day ordeal. While tending to the divers, rescuers learned that one of the 2 instructors, Furukawa, had separated from the group. Thankfully, they located the missing diving instructor in a separate area where she had managed to reach a rocky outcrop. However, her injuries were more severe, and she required helicopter transport to a medical facility for immediate care. With only minor sunburns, mild abrasions, and slight dehydration, the other 4 women were taken to a hospital where they would receive treatment. Though stranded for 3 days, the 4 divers could walk, talk, and remain in good spirits. Despite their success, it was too early for the rescue teams to celebrate. Shoko Takahashi and Ritsuko Miyata were still out there somewhere. Authorities interviewed the boat captain as they searched for more clues to find the last 2 missing divers. However, after hearing the captain's account of events, Didi Hamzar of the Bali Search and Rescue challenged the statement, saying something didn't add up. Hamzar told reporters the most likely scenario involved the boat captain leaving the area to refuel before heading to the agreed meeting point. The surviving divers recounted their experience, telling police officials that the boat captain had left them stranded when they resurfaced after their last diving trip. After hearing this, police arrested the boat captain, citing his negligent behavior leading to the death of 1, possibly 2 divers. Families of the missing divers arrived in Bali to learn more about the circumstances of the incident, including Shoko Takahashi's mother. She described her daughter as active, dependable, and unlikely to do anything that would put her in harm's way. On Tuesday, the rescuers received troubling news that local swimmers found a body believed to be one of the missing divers. Officials retrieved the body, attempting to identify it, but it was challenging given its condition. Later, the husband and daughter identified Miyata's body thanks to her wedding ring, which was still on her hand at the time. A police autopsy would confirm that Miyata had been dead for 3 days. This meant that Takahashi was still out there. Officials still hadn't found the second diving instructor on Wednesday and mentioned that they would have to call off the search if rescuers couldn't find her by Thursday. It wouldn't be until March 17th that news of another body came to light. That day, a local fisherman in Malang, East Java province, discovered a decapitated body with missing hands and feet. Despite the gruesome sight, the fisherman suspected the body might belong to Takahashi, the last missing diver. If this was indeed Takahashi, her remains would have drifted approximately 125 miles or 200 kilometers away from her last known dive location. The head of forensics at the local hospital stated that identifying and confirming that they found her would be difficult without dental records. The body was so deteriorated, it meant that DNA was the most reliable method to confirm the identity. Officials flew the body to a hospital in Bali, where Takahashi's husband identified her remains based on the clothing inside the wetsuit. With Takahashi found, the divers and their families could finally bring closure to this harrowing chapter of their lives.